Hey, what's up, my little title tales, and what's up, Sussex Squad? Sit down and have a seat. Y'all, I don't know what is going on over in Saltine Island. Actually, that's not true. Yes, I do. There is a mad king running loose. I've said it once and I've said it again. He's never going to be my king, but the madness has ascended to the throne. Oh my God. With his willing flying monkey, Camilla. What am I talking about, you guys? They have done everything they can, left, front, right, and center, to break Harry and Meghan. I don't know why they thought using absolute cruelty and humiliation toward two people that were only there because someone they loved died. And by loved, I mean Harry loved her. I'm sure Meghan is like, I mean, the jury's still out. That's Harry's family. I'll just leave him to it, right? Somehow, two people that came because someone they cared about had passed away. You decided, in all your wisdom, while the British pound is going up in flames, while UK is descending into madness. If you haven't felt it out, pay attention to this next year. What the Tories did, what the new prime minister did and her chief of finance did to the country. Listen, the UK has been fighting to kick everybody out that's not that's darker than a saltine. And I'm telling you guys, all the economists are saying, yeah, you fought to have this country all to yourself. Well, now you do, because nobody wants to be here. It's a mess. But in the times that he chose to ascend to the monarchy, to step into his power, he chose, instead of actually distancing himself from the Tory government that is taking the UK to hell in a handbasket fiscally, right? Instead of mourning with the country, instead of honoring his mother, he chose to use this time to actively torture his second-born son and his biracial wife and humiliate them in front of the world while they were held captive by their grief because they just can't leave a funeral. And they somehow thought that was his best bet to 100% make sure that memoir that they're so worried about is never published. And then to take care of Meghan, they said, and you know what? If you want your kids to be called prince and princesses, not just His Royal Highness. Oh, that's too much. No, you're never going to get that. If you want your kids to even have a prince or princess title, you better bow down and kiss the feet of power. Do you hear me? To which Meghan and Harry looked at each other and said, yeah, is it Monday yet? Tell them to fuel the plane up. We might just leave Sunday night. You guys, Charles finally saw what the world saw. That you were absolutely out of your mind, and we see why the Queen at 96 never stopped working, because you were not to be trusted. You're not fit to have power, according to some people. And Camilla, as much as people like to talk trash about Harry and Meghan, and oh my God, Meghan controls them and this and that. Do you know what they're describing? They were describing the relationship. It looks like, so my opinion, between Charles and Camilla. But fear not. Because like all unhinged people, they have a new plan of attack. What is it, you ask? What could possibly be the plan of attack? Well, I'll tell you. They're now trying to say Charles did everything he could to be nice to Harry. Y'all, let's get into this report, because honestly, you can't make this up. I mean, you could, but where would the fun be? Listen to this. Hopes of the thaw in the Cold War between the firm and the Sussex emerged last night after royal insiders revealed that King Charles saw tremendous flickers of hope when he spoke to Harry and Meghan at the Queen's funeral, and even believes he might be able to salvage the relationship with the Duke and Duchess. Have you lost your mind? What did you think the tremendous flicker of hope was? That Harry didn't karate kick you in your face and Meghan drop kick you on the way down? What did you think the tremendous flicker of hope? That after you did everything you could to humiliate your second-born son, they didn't catch you outside Buckingham Palace, right, and stomp you out? Was that the flicker of hope, that they did not go crazy on you for all these acts of aggression? Jesus Christ. The king's conversations with his son and daughter-in-law at the ceremonies for the late monarch of Westminster Abbey and Windsor Castle left him feeling hopeful that he kept mend relations with the Sussex after their acrimonious departure with the royal family. Might I remind you that this man, they are delusional. Just because Harry showed respect and didn't act a fool at his Meemaw's funeral, may I remind you that when they found out the Queen was falling ill to the point of it was the last breath, may I remind you that Harry and Meghan furiously rushed to see Meemaw before she passed. May I remind you that Charles told Harry that it wasn't right or appropriate for Meghan to be in Baltimore at such a deeply sad time. It was pointed out to him that Kate was not going and that the numbers really should be limited to very closest family. Charles made it very, very clear Meghan would not be welcome. Meghan was not family, but it's not over. May I remind you that Harry said, okay, fine, Meghan, you stay. Meghan was like, this ain't the time to argue, fine, whatever, right? Like, I know she got out the car like, oh, I hate this family so much, right? And slammed the door on her way in. But literally, may I remind you that when he got to the plane, they would not let him board the private plane that had Andrew, who was accused of being a nunce, Andrew, Wessex and a few other people there, and William. They did not allow him on the plane. They had to find last minute private jet, flew over there. They announced that she was dead before Harry even touched down. He actually found out the same way we did in the press releases. This is the man that he says rays of hope because of the conversations he had with them in public. Charles is delusional. I see where he's going with this, but let's continue. An insider told The Telegraph, it remains the case that the king loves both his children. You can't keep saying that when the world's been dragging you for being the most stupid, petty, dumb tyrant there is. Listen, over the last 16 days or so, there were tremendous flickers of hope. In terms of the future, there is hope to cause for unity. What were the flickers of hope? The Jew inflicted immense pain and they took it silently. It was a funeral, dummy. Anyway, among the many challenges facing the king in his reign, including modernizing Britain's ancient monarchy, will be how to deal with the Duke and Duchess, who plunged the firm into crisis after quitting public duties for a life free from royal obligations in California, from where they had made a string of damaging allegations against the institution. Do you know what I really honestly don't understand? I mean, I know the answer. They're dum-dums. But I really honestly don't understand, Charles, just, 25 years ago, you were Harry. You were. Not really, because you were forced to marry somebody you didn't want to, lied to a young girl. You and your mistress psychologically tortured her, according to the young girl, right? But what I'm saying is, you were Harry. You literally wanted, let's not forget, to just marry the woman you wanted and do your duties. And your family said no. And because of that, you had a torrid affair. The public hated you. Camilla had to do this whole thing. All this da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But you're so cool to Harry, but you are Harry. You are Harry. You are. A warped, sick, weaker version. But you are Harry. You made Camilla crawl. And so they would accept her as queen. Harry chose to leave with Meghan. And Meghan helped Harry build his fortune, build his future, build everything. Now I'm going to say this, and this might be controversial, but do you think that he's a bit jealous of Harry? He's a bit jealous that his second-born son has the strength, fortitude, and resilience to do what he wishes he could have done back then. You know? I don't know. It makes you wonder, because there's something going on where someone that you've been in this exact same situation with the institution trying to break you and to break the person you love, and you're turning around and you're doing it again. I don't know, guys. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. But in all the weirdness, I do have to say, it is entertaining. Listen, let me tell you something. They're also trying to say, and this is the funniest thing, that Harry, after everything that happened, this is from Palace Aides, that he's rewriting his memoirs to make them so they don't land so harshly. Yes, they are literally trying to make us believe that Harry is rewriting his memoir because it might not look so good. They are insane. Omid Scooby's already said that it's already been printed. It's already passed legal. It's already printed. Now, I do hope that they add an additional foreword, a director's cut. I hope they do. Or matter of fact, make a part 2 when you talked about everything that happened at the Queen's funeral. But again, this is also the palace, UK, not understanding how America media works. We like drama. We like to hear the backstory. Listen, said no one. You can write a book and said, the president said, Listen, we don't care how the people in power feel. We want to hear a whistleblower. We want somebody to give us the nitty gritty. We can know exactly what happened because we saw it, but we now want to know psychologically, what were the things going on? Who said what? How did it happen? That is America. We like the details. The details are delicious. The details are juicy. And the fact that the British media doesn't realize by smearing Harry and acting a fool, they are pretty much guaranteeing that his book is going to be a bestseller. Sussex Squad, listen, we are definitely doing a book club on this. This is going to be fantastic. And after the way they treated them, I hope they burn that whole palace down. Listen, the UK's finances are crumbling. The monarchy is not far behind it. I'm telling you. William has aligned himself deep with the Tories. Deep with the Tories. There will be repercussions for that short-sightedness. That's one thing the Queen had right? Don't align yourself politically because you never know when the music stops. Who's going to be sitting in your chair? Anyway, we're going to have to continue this tomorrow, but I just had to give you this. Make sure if you are liking my flow, there is a royal playlist. You can always pop back if you don't like all the other things that I talk about. There is a royal playlist that all my royal coverage is always there. And don't forget the royal podcast is starting soon. All right, my little tattletales, talk to you later. Bye.